Welcome back to Medusa Kitchen. Today we're going to make some crepes. We're going to make it savory. We're going to make sweet. We're going to make the crepe batter. We're going to do some interesting, different things today. So what I want to get started first is my cream sauce and my caramel for the toppings for my crepes, and then we'll go to the batter. Over here I got a little bit of garlic. I'm going to add some heavy cream to it. Get that at a medium-high heat. Touch of salt, touch of fresh ground black pepper, and we're going to bring this to a slow simmer. We're going to thicken it up with a little bit of roux that I made earlier. I always have bleach towels in my kitchen. Over here, I got another stainless pan. I'm going to make my caramel. Sugar, I got about 3/4 to a 1/4 cup. Half an ounce of fresh lemon, that would be half a lemon. We caramelize this. We let that go. I've got my pan here for crepes. I was going to make some for the people who are at home that don't have an 18-inch French crepe griddle. So we're going to make some here, and then we're going to go and make some like we make here at the restaurant. So anyways, this caramel, you just stir occasionally. What's going to happen is that sugar that's unmelted is going to crystallize the rest of the sugar, but it will all melt down and caramelize beautifully. You can see we got a little bit of a simmer going here with our cream. This is the Parmesan cream sauce for the ham and cheese crepe. Today we're using Munster, but we've used sharp cheddar here before and smoked Gouda, but it seems like the Munster is the most popular. And now that we got this simmering, just going to give it a teaspoon or so of my roux, because I can always add more. You see my caramel here starting to brown, so we get that moving. You know, shake with your left. I'm using a high temp spatula. You can use a wooden or metal spoon if you like. And what I'm making here is the base for my Bananas Foster crepe. Okay, this is boiling really good. I turned the heat down to low. It doesn't look like that roux is quite enough, so we'll add a little bit more. We're also going to be adding some Parmigiano Reggiano to this, so we don't want to get it too thick. We want it to be like thin pancake batter. So we'll let that cook. See how we're getting a nice golden brown. It took less than 2. You don't want the kids around the stove on this one. This is dangerous. I got it to the color I want. So now I'm going to add some heavy cream. Be careful because it's going to that sugar is at 240 degrees. And to this I'm going to add 2 ounces of banana liqueur. And also, if you're over a flame, you have to be careful because this will ignite. And 2 ounces of brandy. I like to pour that out of the cup like that. So I got about 3/4 of a cup of sugar, about 4 ounces of cream, 2 ounces of...
Is there a difference between adding Parmesan versus Asiago when making a sauce?
Yeah, the Asiago is more of a semi-hard cheese. The Reggiano is more of a drier cheese. It won't give you any of that stringiness. And it's got the sharpness that we're looking for. See, this is a nice thin pancake batter. And now we're going to add about 1.5 ounces by weight with some Parmigiano Reggiano. And this is our sauce for the ham and cheese crepe. We're going to leave this on low just to let it kind of simmer a little bit. We've got this here off. I've got 2 bananas sliced up. We're going to get that in there while this caramel is still blazing hot. We'll get that just on medium heat to let that simmer a little bit. Also to this, I'm adding a little bit of clove, cinnamon, and nutmeg. That's going to give us our Foster profile. I'm liking that. Just a touch of salt. Whenever you have something sweet, you want to make it, you want to add a little bit of salt so it's not flat. And also just a touch more lemon juice to give it a little brightness. So our bananas Foster sauce is ready. Our Parmesan cream sauce is ready. Put that on my plate just to cool it off a little bit. Use just a little touch of salt, not too much because we got the ham. All right, I'm gonna let that caramel sauce, turn that off. Let's get back over here to do the crepes. I got a pint of whole milk, 4 ounces of sugar, teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of vanilla bean paste, I like to crack the eggs into a container so I'm not putting shells into my batter. See, we're all clean. We get this mixed. 2 ounces of melted unsalted butter, 9 ounces of all-purpose flour. Now, if you wanted to make this a little bit healthier and gluten-free, you'd replace the 9 ounces of all-purpose flour with cassava flour, which is a root vegetable. It's a resilient starch. The only difference in the crepe batter with the cassava flour is it's a little bit more tender. It's not as stretchy or chewy, so it's very delicate. So you have to work with that carefully. Anytime you make crepe batter, you want to make sure you strain it because it wants to be lump-free. And get all those lumps out of there. Get that nicely pressed through. And you know, I really hate it on shows when they don't scrape everything out. You know, food is sacred. You know, it took a lot of work for people to make all these ingredients for us to use. So respect your ingredients. Use them all. Scrape out the bowls. Okay, so now that needs to refrigerate for an hour. I've already got some made. Take a peek at our caramel sauce here. Looks like we can turn the heat off on that now. Bananas have simmered nicely for a few minutes. They're nice and soft. Usually the first crepe is the test. I've got this on a medium-low heat right now. You can tell by how the butter looks. Looks like I need a little more heat. I'm going to turn this up to about medium. While that's heating up and cooking, I'm going to get my Munster cheese out. Alright, that's cooking nicely. I have 3 ripe bananas here. I've oiled this pan already so the caramel doesn't stick to the pan when I caramelize these bananas. These bananas are going to be part of my garnish. This is the infamous Japanese knife here. We're going to sprinkle these with sugar. Okay, let's come back to the crepe. That's looking pretty good to me. Doesn't look like the first one I didn't need practice on. Jeez, I tell you. 1 in a row. A little cheese. You know, and buy yourself a good ham, okay? Buy yourself a ham it's real ham. It's got fat on it. It's not that pressed jello crapola. You know, this is real ham. Tender, delicious. I slice it myself. Can you grab me a couple of Medusa plates for the table, honey? All right, Zach. This is our ham and Munster crepe with Parmesan cream sauce. Some fresh herbs, little pepper, crumbled cheese around the sides. Now we're going to, now that we know that our heat is right.
What's a good substitute for Munster cheese?
Sharp, extra sharp cheddar. That's the one that we all kind of favor here. Okay. All right, the next one we're going to do is a strawberry cheesecake crepe. And I think I was going to add, let's get these bananas done right away while we're what you're doing here is you're just putting a nice glaze on the bananas. Sometimes if the bananas are really moist, it'll suck up that sugar, so you just hit it with a little bit more. That's what cooking's all about, is adjusting. You know, these are not as dark as I like them. There we go. Now because we greased the pan, this is not going to stick, that caramel. We flipped our crepe. We got one of our cheesecakes here that we make. Just made these this morning, by the way. A little of our cheesecake. A few leaves of basil. And then these strawberries I macerated about half an hour ago. Get that on our plate. Oh, I lost my cheesecake. A little strawberries. Got some whipped cream here. My daughter is laughing over there, so there must be something funny.
What could you do for a more textured filling in the crepe so it's not all soft?
You could do a ragu. Here you go, Zach. You could do, you know, I don't know if steak, but a Greek chicken crepe would be really good.
Yeah.
You know, you make the crepe, you cook the Greek chicken breast, you slice it. You'd almost make it like a gyros. You'd maybe put some onions and tomato and some tzatziki, fresh mint, squeeze a lemon, crumble some Greek or French feta, all day. All right, we're gonna do the banana. And then we're gonna take this operation over to the other side. Now this was another popular one at the restaurant. All this is gonna go over.
How did you come up with the Medusa name?
What was that?
How did you come up with the Medusa name?
It's part of my Greek heritage. I wanted a one-word name that stood out and made a great logo. You know, I thought the Medusa head would have made a great logo, and it does. So that's why, you know, I mean, I when I thought about Medusa, I thought about this plate, you know. And the second plate that we did is gold embossed on the outside, Medusa, with the Greek key on the inside. On the original plate, for the first 5 years, we had this one here. This was more of a gold paint. This is 18 karat here. We needed a special detergent to wash those plates. Okay, I just flipped that crepe. And what I think I've learned here is we'll fold the crepe on the plate so I don't look so foolish. Sorry?
Do we sell t-shirts?
Yes, we do. All of that will be, we've got our store on the website right now, but when we get our app finished, we'll have it on there as well. So with this, we made banana pudding today, so I've got this banana pastry cream. I got the bananas Foster sauce. Oh my God. Shut all the doors in the house. The garage door, the patio door. Shut the doghouse door. We got to do a little extra on top there, right? Don't we? I don't know.
Have you ever thought about making a pizza crepe?
Yes. You know, a cooked good sausage, a nice pomodoro sauce.
Someone asked if you ship out your soups and gelato.
I don't, because it's just so darn expensive. There's the bananas Foster. So we're going to bring this now over to the big boy grill.
What makes a good sausage?
I'm sorry?
For sausage, what makes a good sausage? You should do a live on that, Dad.
Yeah, I actually, those are the glazed bananas. We got everything here? All right. I'm going to need those 2 pans of sauce. And you can set them right here. Go ahead. All right, so this is our French crepe grill that we use here at the restaurant. 18-incher. I've had it for at least 20 years. A little butter. It's 230 degrees. You go in a circle. You fill in all the gaps. Like I got this little gap over here. You know, you tear it. Don't worry. You can fix it. So, yeah, we make these here at Medusa. We sell them on the weekends. God, we used to do the dessert crepes all the time at the restaurant, and so I brought the crepe griddle down. We started making them, and people, you know, they really didn't know until we gave one to them, and you know, it's like they get hooked. So we got a nice color there. Okay, and then why don't you come over there, Zach? You know, this is just so much more impressive, the size of this crepe. And you don't want to, whatever filling you decide to use for your crepe, just make sure it's thin, because we're going to fold this into quarters. And so it's going to be like a quadruple layer crepe, okay? So, you know, you don't want too much, because you'll see when we're done here how much you actually really get. So we let that cook, you know, again, I'm liking that color. So we get under it. And I like to do the double fold like this.
What kind of crepe would you make with spinach?
Oh, spanakopita. A Greek crepe with feta and leeks, spinach, touch of garlic, lots of good fresh dill. So this is our ham and cheese. Can you hand me a towel, honey? Thank you. That's our ham and cheese crepe. So next one, we'll do the cheesecake. You know, in the smaller pan, it takes about 3 ounces. On here, it takes about 6. You know, you start at the middle, You do a circle. You know, you really are not pushing down, you're just dragging the spatula. I'm not putting any pressure on the blade. I'm just dragging it. Okay? Just dragging that batter, letting it get a... Well, that's just so unfair. You know, when the guys at the restaurant wanted to taste something, I would give them the little fork. So everybody got a piece. You folks got to make this crepe. It's easy, it's quick, it's delicious. It shows your family a lot of love. And the fillings are really endless. Of course, I tear one on camera, which I never do. You know, I used to do a television show in Burlington in the 90s, like over 30 years ago. And that was a fun show. That's when I knew that I really enjoyed doing this. So, because I tore it on that top side, I'm going to have to get it over here.
Why did you put that on the cutting board?
Because I'm folding it here and I don't want it to cook anymore.
Does that keep the cheesecake from melting?
Yes. Okay, I know someone out there is saying, well, why don't you put a little banana pudding on there too? Okay, I heard you. We used to serve that as a dessert for 4 at the restaurant. Oh, what the heck. Let's put some caramelized bananas on this one too, huh? I mean, you know, that's what you love about the show, right? We just kind of do it freestyle, baby. You know, someone asked last week what my favorite Dead song was, and you know, it's kind of like a lot of people ask me what my favorite food is or to cook, and it really is what I'm in the mood for. You know, what I'm in the mood for most of the time is a killer smash burger, of course, made by myself. And you know, I mean, it changes. Like all of us, you know, what are you in the mood to listen to? What are you in the mood to eat? You know, I had a friend of mine pass, and He's Gone was on my mind at the time I was shooting last week. So, you know, I'm more of I like the bopping around dancing music, you know, Cumberland blues and dancing in the streets, and, you know, but I love it all. It just depends on what mood I'm in. All right, so banana crepe is next. Next week, a lot of people have been requesting that I do pastitsio, which is Greek lasagna. So, you know, I made some today for Easter, and I baked one off, so I'm going to show you what it looks like. So next week, when you tune in, that's what you'll know what we're going to be making. You know, that's what's so nice about this crepe griddle. Can you turn it up a little bit? This is a good one.
Yeah. What dish do your kids request the most? There's a few.
Yeah, it's a long list, but I'll say risotto's on that list. C'est la vie. So yeah, you know, this is one of my favorite tunes to cook to. C'est la vie. An old Chuck Berry tune. Jerry Garcia band. If I can't tell. You know, this is the kind of music I like. You know, you can gallop along like you're riding a horse. You know, that's what we all used to do at the shows. You know, just kind of, I'm going to the bathroom. I'm going to go get a beer. You know, everybody's just bopping. It was great. I've seen over 54 shows. I know everybody's wondering that too. With Jerry. Bananas Foster. It needs a little whipped cream, Zach said, because he's taking it home. All right, Zach, there you go. A little banana crown. You know, folks, cooking is easy. I want you to feel like it's easy, because it is. You know what to do. You get the right ingredients. You get good quality food. Your family's going to love you. Let's go take a look at the Pastitsio before we call it a wrap. All right. This is Pastitsio. It's noodles. It's normally made with number 2 bucatini with a Medusa cheese. And then there's a lamb sauce with onions and garlic, tomato, cinnamon, clove, allspice. Very Greek floral flavors. And then it's topped with a cream sauce that's been enriched with egg yolks, and then it's baked. And this turns into a custard on top. Very similar to the lasagna bolognese, where they use a little bechamel in the meat sauce and on the layers. But there's really no cheese in here. It's just meat, the cream sauce, and the pasta. So, like lasagna, let it rest. That's Greek Pastitsio. That's what we're making next week. Opa is right. Thanks for coming to Medusa Kitchen. We're doing this every week. We're playing music. We're making great food. And thank you for the support. I truly appreciate it. Ciao. That's a wrap, Zach. Well,
I'd say that was a great show.